You are about to ruin your life by saying hello. At 29, you finally have the kind of life people respect from a distance. A clean apartment above the city, a respectable job in private finance, white shirts, early mornings, quiet dinners alone. You know where your money goes and where your future is headed. Then on a Thursday night, your boss asks you to attend a charity gala because someone important canceled. You almost say no. The ballroom is full of people who inherited confidence, women who wear silence like jewelry, men who shake hands too long, old families, new money pretending to be old families, politicians smiling with only half their faces. You see her near the back bar. She is not the youngest woman there, or the loudest, or the most beautiful in any obvious way, but everyone notices where she is without looking directly at her. The room bends around her. She wears black, no diamonds, no visible label, her hair tied back, a glass of sparkling water untouched. She never once looks at her phone. Your boss notices you noticing. Do not flirt with that woman, he says softly. He does not explain. An hour later, you are standing beside her because life changes through stupid, small accidents. Someone bumps your shoulder, your drink spills. She hands you a napkin before you can speak. You look trapped, she says. Her voice is calm, educated, not local. So do you. I am. You make her laugh, which surprises both of you. Her name is Elena. You talk for 11 minutes, about architecture, about cities ruined by greed, about why expensive people always pretend to love jazz. She knows too much about everything and gives away almost nothing. When you ask for her number, she studies you the way a surgeon studies an x-ray. You should not ask me that. But I'm tired of good advice. She types her number into your phone. You do not know yet that this will cost you 3 apartments, 2 friendships, and the easiest version of yourself. The first date is breakfast, not dinner. She says dinners are performances. Breakfast is where people are real. You meet at a small cafe across town. She arrives 5 minutes early in jeans and no makeup. Somehow more dangerous. You learn she was married once, divorced now. You ask what her ex did. Import and export, she says. You know that means nothing. She asks about your childhood, your father, whether you are loyal by nature or by fear, whether you lie kindly or honestly. Strange questions for coffee. You answer them anyway. On the 3rd date, you are rearranging your schedule for her. By the 5th, she has a toothbrush in your bathroom. By the 7th, you realize she never sleeps deeply. Every sound wakes her. A siren 3 streets away, and her eyes open. A car door slamming downstairs, and she sits upright. You ask once. She says, some habits outlive the danger. You should ask, what danger? You kiss her instead. Winter comes. She begins staying over more often. She cooks like someone trained by grandmothers in war. Your kitchen fills with garlic, music, and expensive perfume. She folds your shirts better than you do. She leaves books open face down. She stands at the window every morning before sunrise and checks the street below. You pretend not to notice. You meet no friends, no family. She says they are complicated. Your friends ask questions. Your sister says Elena seems elegant, but absent, like she is always listening for another conversation. Your best friend Matteo asks her last name. She smiles and changes the subject. 2 weeks later, Matteo pulls you aside. Is she Elena Varela? You say maybe. He goes pale. You need to end this. Why? He looks around before answering. Because Varela was married to Javier Cortez. The name means nothing to you. Then he tells you, Javier Cortez controls routes through 3 states. Construction firms, ports, farms, nightclubs. Half the politicians in 2 cities owe him favors and the other half owe him fear. And Elena was his wife for 8 years. You laugh because the truth sounds ridiculous. Mateo does not laugh. That night you ask her directly. She keeps cutting onions while you speak. Were you married to Javier Cortez? Yes. She says it the same way someone confirms rain. You could have told me. You could have asked better questions. You wait for anger but feel something worse. Humiliation. What exactly am I doing here? She puts down the knife. Having dinner with a woman who left a powerful man and would like one normal evening. You think this is normal? No, she says. I think you are. You should leave. You stay. You stay because she finally looks tired. You stay because loneliness recognizes loneliness. You stay because danger, when spoken softly, can sound like intimacy. You stay. That word will invoice you for years. Spring arrives. Now the relationship has gravity. Grocery stores, bookshops, long drives outside the city, Sundays in bed, reading separate things with your legs touching. It would almost be ordinary if ordinary things did not keep happening in the wrong shape. A black SUV parked across the street twice in 1 week. A florist delivering roses with no card. Your apartment lock replaced while you are at work. A man in a gray suit nodding to Elena in a restaurant she swore she had never visited. She says Javier likes to know she is safe. That is not safety, you say. It is the closest version he understands. You ask if she still speaks to him. Sometimes. How often? When necessary. Necessary becomes a word you begin to hate. By summer, your job notices changes in you. Missed calls, distracted meetings, a client complains, you seem elsewhere. You are elsewhere. You are in a life where expensive watches belong to bodyguards, where reservations appear from nowhere, where police officers greet certain men too respectfully, where Elena can get anything solved with one quiet phone call. Your rent dispute disappears in a day. Your cousin's surgery is suddenly moved up after months of waiting. You ask how. She says, influence is just speed. You tell yourself it is harmless. Then Mateo is arrested outside a club for something stupid and small. Wrong place. Wrong friends. Possession. You mention it to Elena over dinner. She sends one text. Mateo is released before midnight. He calls you furious. Do not ever use those people for me again. They helped. They marked me. You begin to understand that favors are footprints, and you are leaving them everywhere. The first payment is Mateo. He stops calling after that summer. He still answers, sometimes, but with the careful tone people use around electrical wires. By winter, he does not answer at all. The second payment is your work. Compliance opens an internal review into one of your accounts. Nothing criminal, just irregular movement tied to a shell company you now recognize too late. You insist you knew nothing. That is even worse. Smart men are not supposed to know nothing. You are asked to resign quietly. Elena says she can fix it. You say no so fast it startles both of you. She nods once. She respects boundaries most after you have already lost everything. The third payment is your family. Your sister visits the apartment one Sunday. She sees the cameras in the hallway, the men downstairs pretending to read newspapers, Elena speaking softly in another room in a language you do not know. When she leaves, she hugs you too long. You do not look happy, she says. I am fine. You keep saying that like it is a number. She stops visiting after that. What remains is you. Or some revised edition. A man who checks mirrors before crossing streets. A man who no longer asks where money comes from. A man who can tell bodyguards from drivers by their shoes. A man who once believed inconvenience was the price of love. Then comes the night you understand Elena never escaped Javier Cortez. She only changed the shape of the cage. She is gone for 3 days with no explanation. She does this sometimes. You have learned to hold panic loosely, like something that belongs to you but should not be trusted. She returns at 4:12 a.m. No makeup, torn sleeve, barefoot. She sits on the kitchen floor without taking off her coat. You sit beside her. After a long time she says, he is dead. You know exactly who she means. You wait for grief. What arrives first is relief, then shame for the relief, then fear of what comes after relief. Did you? No, she says, but I asked the question that became the answer. You understand more than she said, and less than you need. She leans her head on your shoulder. I am free now. You look around the kitchen, the guarded building, the replaced locks, the phone she keeps face down, the life arranged by men you have never met. You realize freedom can arrive carrying handcuffs. Months later, people begin visiting your apartment who never used to knock. Men with perfect manners and terrible posture. Women who smile without warmth. They ask Elena for opinions, introductions, permissions. Sometimes they ask you too. You know numbers, structures, risks. You become useful. No one announces this. It happens the way rot happens, quietly and all at once. At 41, you live in a larger apartment you did not buy. You attend dinners where ministers laugh too hard. You can make problems disappear with one phone call. You hate how quickly competence adapts. Elena still sleeps lightly. You do too now. At 52, she stands beside you on a balcony above a city glowing with money and appetite, her hair threaded with gray, your hands steadier than your conscience. Do you regret me? She asks. You think about Mateo, your sister's distance, the job you lost, the doors that now open too easily, the things done for you that can never be undone. You think about winter mornings in your first apartment, garlic in the kitchen, her feet finding yours under the blankets, the rare moments when she laughed without caution. You tell the truth. Never you say. Only the price. She nods like someone hearing a language she already knows. That night, you lie awake beside her. You understand something late. Some people ruin your life. Some people become your life. Sometimes they are the same person. You do not sleep, but you are home.